Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today we're going to be talking about The Marvels, directed by Nia DaCosta and starring Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, and Teyonah Parris. This is the latest entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is going to be a full spoiler review, by the way. If you want to see our out-of-theater reaction, you can find it in the description of this video below. Hello, Nicholas.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. So we saw The Marvels together.
We did, yes.
I've since seen it a second time on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I took Hannah. She had not seen it.
Mm-hmm. So you have 2 viewings under your belt now.
I got 2 viewings under my belt.
And?
It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
I did enjoy it a little bit more my second time.
Kind of knowing what to expect.
Yeah, but the movie still has a lot of problems. But overall, I thought it was perfectly enjoyable. Does the movie have a rocky story? It's not even a rocky story. It's just like, it's a good story, but it was told very rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Much like the first movie.
Yes.
I thought at least.
Does the villain of the film lack motivation due to scenes that were clearly cut?
Yes.
Yes. However, is there a amazing sense of chemistry between the 3 leads? Yes. Does Iman Vellani absolutely steal the fucking show? Big yes. And are the action scenes well done? Yeah. The first one, I think, is one of the best action scenes we've had in a while in Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, the top is still Guardians 3.
Oh, yeah, that scene was great. But, like,
in terms of the other stuff to come out, absolutely.
Yeah. And I thought that the film was very fun. You connected emotionally to some bits, specifically with Miss Marvel. The bits between Captain Marvel and Captain Rambeau, I feel like I should have felt more. The performances are great between those two and what they're saying, but the setups of their reunion and how the reunion played out, I was a bit let down by.
There was very weird staging, I felt like, with a lot of the scenes, like scheduling conflicts almost. Maybe they, like, it looked very, like, stitched together in a way. But I think that the chemistry between all 3 leads, and especially, like, the heart being Miss Marvel and her family, who I'm glad were not just a cameo and had a big part of the movie, because I feel like their chemistry and their humor as well. The humor, I thought, on this movie was much better.
Really worked.
Now, it is still Marvel
of
humor,
course. Yeah.
But I found myself actually laughing more at a lot of the jokes in this one.
Yeah.
Mostly Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I love Nick Fury in this movie.
Also, if you saw Secret Invasion 1, I'm sorry, too. It doesn't fucking matter. It's a different Nick Fury now.
Oh, yeah, totally. But it almost seems like this takes place before.
Yeah.
Reason I say that is because the Nick Fury in this movie is very similar to the Nick Fury we see at the end of Far From Home, where he's just like, where are my shoes up in space? Yeah. Like, this Nick Fury felt very much like that Nick Fury. Also, of the scenes that I didn't particularly enjoy, or of the parts of the movie I didn't particularly enjoy, there's only one scene that I think is straight up bad, where I'm like, this doesn't work at all.
Is that when they're in the cornfield?
Yes. Yeah. Even the second time it was worse. Yeah. Like, it was just like, man, it felt like a reshoot. I can't put my finger on it, but Hannah also pointed out that you could tell whenever Brie Larson's hair was parted a bit differently. And to me, it was a bit of Iman Vellani. Like, she didn't, like, age tremendously, but she looked like a bit different, like from a couple scenes. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is a reshoot, and it's, you know.
I mean, it would make sense too. They put him in like an abandoned, desolate field that was just basically a blue background, you know.
And it was blocked so weird, and it was edited so weird, like. Like, you see them on the ramp, it's a wide, and they're talking, which is clearly probably ADR dialogue, and then it just, when it punches in, they're just standing in a triangle.
Stagnant, yeah.
And it's just like, whoa, like, that just happened. Like, it just didn't feel right in the editing there. Some things I also really liked about the movie. I'll say it. I thought the cat scene was fucking awesome.
Cat scene was very fun.
I love the Flurkin scene. I know it's getting some mixed reviews online, that scene in particular. I loved it. When it comes to the singing planet, at first I thought it was really funny, but I do think the bit did overstay its welcome. I think it just went on for too long.
Or not long enough for it to still be like, wow, they're committing
to get funny
it. Like
again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that also just the cat scene, I know it is getting that online. It fit tonally with the movie, though. Like, the whole movie was meant to be goofy and lighthearted and fun, except for the villain, which is destroying planets. And they're like, you don't get to see that, though, so we're fine.
Yeah, and, like, to me with the villain, I thought that Zawe Ashton did a perfectly fine job with what she had. There was almost nothing to sink your teeth into as an actor there. And there was definitely a scene shot of, like, Captain Marvel going in and destroying her planet and the Supreme Intelligence. Because, like, when it flashes back to it, it's clearly a full sequence that they just cut up.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like that should have been placed at the beginning of the film to, like, even pre-Marvel logo, to kind of set a foundation for Dar-Benn, for the villain, to, like, so we can understand the motivation of why she hates Captain Marvel so much and why she wants to save this planet. We legit don't find out the villain's motivation until about halfway through the movie. Because when the movie starts, she's just, like, on the moon with the bangle, and I'm like, who's this? And, like, yeah, you're supposed to watch a movie, and
this is the villain.
you're supposed to watch a movie and figure things out as you go, absolutely. But when the movie starts, it makes her come across as a lot more generic.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a proper setup for her.
Well, it's kind of like the opening for Spider-Man Homecoming. If it just cut to Vulture being Vulture and then halfway through you find out why.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work.
Exactly.
But if you have this whole background of the Stark Tower and everything, and then it cuts to him being like, oh, he actually did make a business of it.
Yeah.
And now we're caught up. It feels like that there should have been that scene and then cut to them arriving at the portal where you're like, oh shit, she has a bangle.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I agree. And also, things that I liked about the movie. Like I mentioned, the first action scene's great where they're all switching bodies and powers. Yes, I thought that was extremely well done.
I loved the first time we're seeing Monica's powers as well. Like when she flies through that guy and then punches him.
That was awesome.
Heck yeah.
And I think the hardest I laugh in the movie, other than like the cat scene, is when Monica has to fly to catch Miss Marvel because she's falling through the air. And when she catches her, she initially goes through her at first, and then they're holding on to each other, and then Miss Marvel's like, let me try something, and she, like, folds a ball of her energy, and right before it hits the ground, it becomes Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury just goes, oh, it's cool, it's Carol. For some reason, that just fucking kills me, like, every time, both times I watched it.
I think my favorite joke, not even my favorite, just one that cracked me up was when Fury is going to New York with the family in the spaceship.
Yeah.
They are like being pulled in and they're like, it's the wrong way. And just the bickering and the son's praying. And he goes, are you praying back there? Yeah. And he goes, yeah, sorry. And he goes, don't stop.
Yeah, we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, amen.
That was great.
No, Fury was very fun in this.
Yeah.
And I liked that a lot.
Yeah. And I also thought something that speaks to how good Iman Vellani is in the movie. Her admiration, Captain Marvel's admiration, or I'm sorry, Miss Marvel's admiration of Captain Marvel and of the Avengers never dwindled. It never got annoying. Yeah. And I think that's solely down to Iman Vellani's performance. Like, you totally buy every word out of her mouth, everything the character does. It seems genuine. It seems heartfelt. There are a couple really good moments that I pick up on the second viewing between her and Captain Marvel specifically. One on the scene where they're saving the Kree off of the planet, and Captain Marvel kind of pulls her back. And she's like, what are you doing? We have to save these people. And she's like, no, we got to save who we can. And then it cuts to Miss Marvel, and she kind of looks at her, and it's the don't meet your heroes moment.
Yeah.
And, like, that was well done. Now the movie immediately, when they get on the ship, she apologizes, and that tension's over, which I think would have been nice to live in that a little bit longer. But the scene itself was well done. And then, more fun stuff, like the montage of them on the ship, like learning how to control the power switching. That was really fun and cute. Let's get into the shit.
Yes.
Like the spoilery shit.
Spoilery shit. Let's do it.
So,
I liked the consistency of the Statue of Liberty being gold.
Yes.
With the shield.
Yes,
I liked that a lot.
That's true. I liked how Dar-Benn immediately died after using the bangles.
Yeah.
It was, like, when I say I liked it, I'm being a bit sarcastic. I thought it was a bit silly. Because you can tell something was reworked for that moment to occur there.
Well, my whole thing with that was the fight scene I thought was really cool, where they're all switching and, like, using their powers in unison and everything. And then they do the switch where she's, like, threatening Miss Marvel with the hammer. And then they give her she gets the bangle. And she throws the hammer to the side. And spends about probably 20 seconds, like...
Yeah.
And it's like, can none of these people just, like...
She's dropped the hammer.
Hit her?
Yeah.
Like, Miss Marvel has like, she should have just been like a giant fist, just boom. But that's not how we get to the other universe.
Exactly.
But, and that's, I feel like the movie then shifted to, like, all right, we're done, we need to set up now.
Yeah.
Which I felt like...
Which it was sudden.
Yes, which was the villain issue as a whole.
Yeah, and... the idea of, like, another universe spilling into ours, the MCU, was very sudden. I almost feel like if I would have liked that a bit more if it was worked into the film of, like, she's trying to steal all these resources for her planet, but none of them are good enough, so she has to rip a portal through time-space to pull resources from another reality.
Yeah.
Like, so that at least it just didn't seemingly come out of nowhere. Although I did buy that the Bengals could rip the hole. They did a good job, like, explaining how powerful that those were specifically.
Or maybe even something, too, with, like, the light-switching powers. Like, maybe with the Bengals, Miss Marvel gets both of them and goes into another universe, and then they're actually switching through.
Yeah, oh, that would be sick.
Universes the whole movie.
That would have been sick. I also liked, or let me rephrase.
Also, I feel like a lot of the villains' issues could have been solved actually through diplomacy.
Yeah.
Because the MC's established that there's so many dying planets. Just go take it from one of those.
Yeah.
Or the water. And I get that she was targeting specifically things Captain Marvel called home.
Yeah.
But, like, there's the vengeance, but then also actually caring for the people. And I feel like that gets it resolved. You know, the one planet was 99 point whatever % water.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could take a little bit.
Yeah.
Reasonably, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. And I also think that there's a lot of just, like, let's just move the movie forward and not, like, stew in what's going on, which I think is a bit to the movie's detriment. Like, I like the idea of Captain Marvel feeling bad for what she's done, not realizing the consequences of her actions, and realizing that this person just hates her. And, like you can tell in some of Brie Larson's moments that that character feels that, but it's never sat in, it's never really explored. And I think one detriment of the movie is that I wish that we sat in those moments more and got to feel them, but they weren't completely not in the film. They just weren't in there long enough, I feel like. But for the lack of that, you get incredibly heartwarming and endearing sequences with the three of them. You know, I love that Miss Marvel's trying to workshop a name for Captain Rambeau.
Yeah.
You know, famously in the comic, she's Photon and Spectrum and all these things, and she's just, like, trying to get one that sticks with her. Like, there's stuff like that really works.
My biggest thing with the movie too is I feel like they have Marvel's sort of botched in a way this Kree Skrull war, because what confused me is the Skrull refugee camp was an entire planet and it looked very well built.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the Skrulls is that they didn't have a planet. I mean, now they don't, but, like, why were not all the Skrulls just, like, sent there? I assume Nick Fury was aware of this.
Yeah.
Also, R.I.P. to Ben Mendelsohn's Talos, who half the viewers of this movie probably don't know is dead.
Yeah.
And probably also think that the King Skrull was just the Skrull from Captain Marvel.
Yeah. You're bothered by that, aren't you?
I like Skrulls.
Hey, they're on Asgard now.
Skrulls are on Asgard. Give me a workplace comedy.
Yes. I like Tessa Thompson's cameo, by the way. It kind of speaks to what we were talking about of, like, the crossovers that, like, could and should happen, like, if it makes story sense. And I thought this was a good example of that. This felt very Doctor Strange and Ragnarok kind of cameo.
Yeah, I think that might still be the pinnacle for me, or Wong in Shang-Chi.
Yes.
I think are still, like, the two, like, best uses of them.
Yeah.
But I would definitely put this one up there, or Falcon in Ant-Man.
Yeah. No, very well done stuff. And then I love Miss Marvel recruiting the Young Avengers, and she's doing the Nick Fury speech, but her own version of it.
I loved it. I'm all on board, right? We knew they were going to probably build to something.
Yeah.
And what a great way to do it with her fanboy,
Kate Bishop.
Nick Fury. Very randomly placed at the very end of the movie. Like, I don't know why we didn't just have post-credit
Yeah,
scenes.
it was probably supposed to be like a mid-credit scene.
But they want people to see the mid-credit scene.
And for whatever reason, they just moved it up.
Yeah.
But either way, it was cool to see Kate Bishop again. I think it makes sense that Miss Marvel's the one doing it. I think that's fun.
I mean, lock onto her star power, too.
Yeah,
She's going to rise.
I need scenes with her and Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
I need it so bad.
But did you also notice this at the end of the movie? She didn't have the second bangle.
In that scene with Haley Steinfeld?
Well, she didn't have any bangles in that scene, I don't think. But when she comes down from the ship after they beat it, she only has one bangle on.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. I didn't notice that, even my second time.
So I don't know if that was
like rearranged,
just a continuity thing, or if there was something that was cut because it didn't reveal where that other bangle went.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm misremembering. I'm like 95% sure she only had one bangle on at the end.
If you remembered, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But then
or if they addressed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's get to the fucking
Let's do it.
Cool shit. Teyonah Parris wakes up, sees her mom, but it's not her mom. We're in another universe. What universe? Oh, we're seemingly in the Fox X-Men universe because Kelsey Grammer is back as Beast. Cowards didn't put him in the practical suit, but that's all right.
The CGI looked good.
It looked fine.
I just loved the practical suit.
I agree. But, like, hearing that voice, like, he's so perfect for that role.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, seeing the X-Men doors, the X-Men music from those films, like, it's very much implying that it is that universe. Probably post Days of Future Past.
I feel like they wouldn't have lingered on the door if it wasn't.
And they wouldn't have had the music, I feel like, too. Because every other time they've used X-Men music, it was the animated one, which is just more of a general X-Men song.
Yeah. And I do like the idea that that universe's Captain Marvel is similar to the one that we saw, obviously, in Multiverse of Madness, but a different universe altogether.
She has the outfit on of a new character in comics, Binary. That's the outfit that she had on. So it's probably a version of that.
But what I'm curious about, though, is just the greater, like, I think that's a great integration, and to have her not recognize Monica, she didn't have kids in this universe, that universe is Captain Marvel. I'm very curious, though, because the X-Men universe, all the heroes were mutants. So is that Captain Marvel a mutant, or is it opening it up to the greater universe of just superheroes?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a really great question. We'll probably get it explored more in Deadpool 3.
Probably.
Yeah. But, I mean, overall, is it a great film? No. I think there's a few things in the film that prevent it from being great, mainly just not being able to sit in more emotional moments, and the ones we do sit in aren't executed very well. But the movie is very well paced. It has incredible action. You really are with the characters, especially Miss Marvel. You go on a journey, and it was very fun and very funny, and it's a great time. And I kind of feel that's how I kind of feel about the film. I probably liken it a bit more than Ant-Man 3, to be honest.
Yeah, they're like very similar. I think I might give the edge to it on a rewatch. But I think that my recommendation on it is very similar to, we had a comment on our out of theater reaction, which I'll put in the description, but it just said, I cannot wait to watch this movie, ... on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair assessment. I think it's a good time. If you're looking for a fun, safe movie to go to the movie theaters, absolutely go see it, but you can also wait.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I mean, you know me. I'm a movie theater guy.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I'm always go see it at the theater.
Yeah, but if you get kids and don't want to spend $100,
yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
And you can go see The Holdovers, which came out this week,
yes,
right?
Great movie. Yes, go watch that. But yes, that's the spoiler review for The Marvels, guys. What did you think about it? Let us know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next review.